Hi, thank you for joining me for day 2 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life round 14. And today's sketch, I'll pop up in the left-hand corner there, is by Shawn Stiles Lahr, and it's a double page sketch. So I've gone with the left-hand side and rotated it by 90 degrees anti-clockwise. Now I've left all this in to show you how I did struggle a little bit with this sketch and how important it is really to make it your own and not try and stick too closely to everything that's going on. So I'm documenting some photos from our trip to New York at Christmas, and these are actually of my husband and of the bar at the airport. So we were just waiting to catch our flight home, and I was really stuck on having this strip of paper down the right hand side, and that sort of threw me off with everything else. I didn't know what to use for the background, I didn't know what to use for the strip. You can see me trying a few different things. I trimmed down my white cardstock because I knew I wanted that to be my base. And my photos were at the correct size at this point, but I just did not know what to do. Anyway, I switched the paper out. I was trying to use a sort of orangey brown colour. I'm using Wherever from 49er Market, and I'm mixing it in with my Here and There from Simple Stories. These two collections go really, really nicely together. So you can see I'm moving that sheet around now to try and get it exactly where the sketch has it. But in the end, I just decided to just go for it and just do what I want to do. I've taken inspiration from the sketch and I'm really happy with the outcome, but like I say, it did take a little while. So don't always think that just because I'm doing YouTubes all the time that I find things really easy. Sometimes I do struggle. Anyway, I've taken my weathered wood Distress Oxide ink and just watered that down a little bit, and now I'm using my brayer to create a background on that white cardstock. So first of all, using it wet, I brayered it on to create the watercolour background. And now I'm using this stencil from Creators Workshop to push the same ink through using a blending brush. And I absolutely love that tone on tone look that you get from doing this. So I just move the stencil around the page and get it stenciled all the way through. In fact, there's very little showing. Now I look at the final layout as per usual. I spend hours doing a mixed media background and then it all gets covered up. But the bits that are peeping through are intentional. So there you go. So that's all stenciled in. So now bringing those photos back, and I'm going to add some mats behind those photos. First of all, I'm just going in with the Here and There stamps, and I've just put the aeroplane one on my finger because I was too lazy to get my block out, and this is a much quicker way of doing it. And I'm just finger stamping around the page, both on the white and also on the blue that's going to be my background. I'm just moving those aeroplanes around so that they're all flying in different directions. I just thought this was a really nice nod to the fact that we were at the airport. So almost creating my own paper really, aren't I there? So I did take some of those planes off the edge of the paper as well, just for continuity. And now I'm just coming in with a little bit of water just to bleed them out a little bit on that background paper. So moving that out to dry, and then just auditioning some different papers to use as a mat for these photos. So first of all, I'll come in with white just to provide that border between the paper and the photo. And I was thinking of using this 49er Market paper, but I do switch that out and end up using one of the Simple Stories papers. I just didn't want a blocky colour really. I wanted to bring in a few more colours, so I thought that would be better. So just trimming the edges down of the white cardstock with my scissors. I just wanted a very narrow border, and they were to hand, so that's what I've used. And then once those are cut down, and the photos are, the one of Ross is 4x6 and the square one is 4x4. So they do take an awful lot of the page up anyway. And I'm just working out how I want that background to go. I decided I wanted the braille lines moving down rather than across the page. So this is where I switched out that paper for the second mat, and I'm just using this floral just because it's got all those different colours in the background. So you don't see that it's a floral once it's cut out because it's only a tiny border that I'm adding, but it just adds a bit of interest because everything else is quite plain. So once again, just trimming these out with my big scissors, and then I'll distress the edges of these mats. Almost there. And what was I doing with this ink? Oh yes, I decided that the braid ink just needed to be brought towards the top and towards the bottom a little bit more. So I'm just adding a little bit more. And this is much more watered down than the initial layers, but I'm fine with that. It's just to add a little bit more colour because the photo takes up so much of the page. So turning it back the right way again, and then just, as I say, quickly distressing those edges. And then getting those situated. And once they're down, I can start working on the embellishments. And you can see I've got my little dish there on my glass map, and I've pulled out some bits that are ideas. I haven't really tried anything out, but I just pull out bits that I think might work with the layout. So sticking those down, now I know that I'm happy with those. And these are still in line with the sketch where the photos go. And then I'm just going to gut the inside of this paper. It seemed a shame to use a full sheet of 49 and mark it because it's quite a premium price, isn't it? So I'm just saving what I can in the middle, and I can use that for matting photos or for layering pieces on another layout. So I'm leaving a fairly generous border because I know I cut that white cardstock down a fair chunk, so I didn't want to trim too much and end up having to do a botched job. I did consider using this darker blue, and I really liked that because we were at the airport and it was the evening. It would have worked really nicely, but I'd already done that stamping and I did like the pale blue as well, so I decided to just stick with that this time. So just using my wet glue to get this stuck down. Just gives me the opportunity to move it around a little bit to make sure that it's central, and then using my fingernails just to rough up those edges. If I wasn't so lazy, I would have got my sewing machine out at this point and stitched around the edge of the card, but I just couldn't be bothered today. So there you have it. So this is one of our dies at Hail of the Magpie, a lovely compass, and I just cut it out of white cardstock. It was on my desk, so I thought that would work really nicely on this layout. That little tab that I've put on the photo of Ross says where to next, because I know he's already thinking about where we can go on our next holiday. This ticket just works really nicely with that frame, just building up a little cluster here to the left of the photo. Getting that stuck down because I know I want that to stay on the photo. And now I'm going through my bits left from the Here and There collection. And straight away I see this open suitcase, which again I think is really nice for the fact that I'm documenting our trip home. So I'll use that as my journaling spot. And then I see this baggage claim ticket, again perfect for photos at the airport. So using that, and then bringing this compass die back in just to add to that cluster there. So adding some wax twine in grey through that baggage claim ticket. And I'll just leave that to trail down the left hand side. I'll weave it through that frame just to help it stay in place. So adding some glue because I've realised that I haven't actually glued anything down. So I do love those frames just to build up clusters. They're a great base for your clusters. So getting this stuck down, remembering to keep north. And that's where I just weave those threads through that frame. It just holds them in place neatly. So now onto the suitcase, and I decide I want the lid to be lifted slightly, so I've put wet glue on the bottom half and then just adding some foam pads to the top just so that it holds it up slightly and provides a shadow and makes it look like that suitcase has just been flipped open. So now I'm coming in with these Ellie Studio tile letters. They're perfect for airport photos because they do look like the announcement boards, don't they? So I'm just going to write out Homeward Bound as my title here. And that fits really neatly into that space there. And then my journaling. So I just journaled about what we did, how we got back from central Manhattan to JFK, which is where we were flying from. So we took the subway to Jamaica, then hopped on the air, hoped to get the air train, but it was off, and lots of police presence due to pro-Palestine demonstrations. A bus service was on, but it took much longer and lots of security checks. So it's just remembering those little details that would fade over time. So just got that on the journaling on this page. So now I'm going through the Here and There sticker book just to see which other little bits I can layer around that suitcase just to build up that little cluster there. And then I spot these stickers which will work really nicely for my date I think about putting it above Ross, but in the end it goes above the other photo and it works really nicely there. Just there, so I can use my roller date stamp on that to add the date. And it was the 1st of January 2024. Just checking that I've got it the right way around. So looking for some last little bits to add on. Find a little suitcase there with a passport. Oh, is it? No, it's a passport with a ticket inside. So I'm just going to tuck that here, and I have to fiddle and faff because of course I layer the stickers on top of each other and then decide that I want one underneath the sticker that I'd stuck previously. So that goes down, and then I find this little geotag which has just got an aeroplane on it, so that's going to work really nicely there. And it's still feeling very blocky, so I want to find something that's going to pull the eye out to the right hand side from that block. So I find this arrow that says relaxing here, and then another word sticker that goes underneath it that just says fly away. So everything that relates to where we are, the fact that we're at the airport waiting to go home. And that's the layout done. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you've enjoyed this process, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.